Hi, I'm Yolanda. Welcome to my channel, and today we are going to be making Gumpaste open peonies. These flowers are beautiful. You can use them for any decoration, especially if you are making a wedding cake and you make all these in white. They will look fantastic. So let's grab our Gumpaste and let's get started. So the first thing that we are going to be making is the center. For that, we are going to make 3 pistils like this here, and then we are going to add the stamens. First, let's start making the pistils. We will make 3 of them using our Gumpaste. Using our Gumpaste and gauge 24 wire. We will take our wire and make a hook at one end. You will also need edible glue. If you do not know how to make edible glue, I will leave the link to this video on how to prepare how to make edible glue. Also, Florist tape. It's important that you have Florist tape for this project. At the end of this video, I will leave a list of all the ingredients that I've used to make these open peonies. Okay, so now we grab a piece of Gumpaste. I used 1 gram of Gumpaste for each pistil. But you don't have to do that. You can eyeball the size of the ball. And remember, if your Gumpaste is too soft, use a little bit of powdered sugar. If it sticks to your finger, use a little bit of vegetable shortening. So what I'm doing now, I'm just giving the Gumpaste a little massage to make the tiny balls. Be sure that the surface of the balls are very smooth. Each one of them should be very, very smooth. Now take one of the balls in the palm of your hand and just roll it back and forth to make a teardrop like this one here. You may want to turn the end of the pistil to make it more natural. Now I take my piece of wire with a hook and I dip it in the edible glue. I remove the excess and then I insert it into the teardrop, making sure that the wire does not go all the way through. You don't want it to come out to the other end, but you want it to be maybe halfway through. And then at the bottom, make sure to pinch all the Gumpaste to the wire, and you may remove any excess as well. Now with my knife tool, I'm going to make three parts. I'm going to divide the pistils into 3 parts, just like this. This will give the pistils a natural look. And that's it. We will make 3 pistils, just like what we just made. Just like the one we just made. Now the next step is to color each pistil. I'm going to use a lime green and a bright yellow to color the pistils. Starting with the green, I will color the bottom, maybe 1/3 of the height of the pistil. Then the rest will be colored in yellow. This will give the pistils a very, very natural effect. And I'm using petal dust. I'm not using any shimmering or anything, just plain petal dust. Be sure not to use the petal dust straight from the jar. You should put it on a paper towel, and then from there load your brush, and then just on the paper towel make sure that you just get rid of some of the dust, so that way when you paint or when you color, you don't have clumps of dust on any part of the pistil. If you just follow my lead, you will see what I mean. And we are going to color the 3 pistils the same way. Now that my pistils are ready, I am going to tie the 3 of them together. But first, using my pliers, I will turn each one maybe to a 90-degree angle. And then I will tie them. I'm using Florist tape to tie my 3 pistils together. Be sure that you bring the tape all the way up. You may start maybe halfway the wire and then push up the ribbon up, but make sure that the ribbon is all the way up, almost touching the beginning of each pistil. And then you will tie down all the 3 pistils together. And now to prepare my stamens, I'm going to use store-bought stamens. You can find these online or in any place where they sell cake decorating items and things. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a few stamens. Depending on how wide the stamens are, you are going to use them. The tips of these stamens are wide, so I'm going to use only 8. If they are thin, the tips, then you can use maybe 10 to 12. But in my case, I'm using 8 per set. So I'm going to grab 8 stamens per set, and I'm going to make 3 sets. I am going to tie them right in the middle using a very thin wire. The thinnest wire that you can find. Next, I will color my 3 sets of stamens. I'm going to be using the same yellow, the bright yellow that I use for the pistils. I am going to grab each set of stamens, and I'm just going to rest them on the napkin, and I'm going to start with my brush. Again, just giving it some color. Remember to not use the color straight from the jar, but set it on the paper towel and start coloring from there, like so. Now that my pistils and stamens are ready, I am going to tie them together, arranging one set of stamens in between pistils, in between two pistils. You may tie one set of stamens to the pistils, and then you may tie another one, or you can just arrange them all together first and tie everything together using Florist tape. Don't forget that you need to use the Florist tape to tie them all together. And here it is. I've just completed my center for my open peony. Your center should look something like this one. As you can see, that's the same way it looks in the flower. For these peonies, I'm using this set of petal cutters. I'm going to cut 5 large petals, 5 medium petals, and 5 small petals using a cell board. This white board that you see here, that's a cell board, and I'm going to be using that so that way when I roll my gum paste over the board, it's going to mark where I'm going to be inserting my wire, because I'm going to wire these petals. You need, again, 24 gauge wires for these petals. So evenly roll the gum paste so that the gum paste can go in the groove. And you will see when I cut my petal with a petal cutter, there is going to be a groove. That's where the wire is going through. And I should point out that you must align the petal cutter with the groove. In order for you to have the groove right in the center or in the middle of the petal, like this one here, you need to align the petal cutter with the groove. Now I take the wire and dip it in the edible glue, remove the excess, and then I am going to pass it through the middle of the petal. Maybe I will go a little less than halfway through. You gotta be careful you don't go all the way up. It's gotta be either to the middle, halfway through, or a little bit less than halfway through. Then you're going to soften the edges with the ball tool, the edges of the petal. You may soften the edges before you insert the wire or after you insert the wire. It is all up to you. Now I'm going to place my petal that has already been wired on the veiner, and the wire and the groove will be facing me. That's how I like to place my petals, my wired petals. And then you just press the other part of the veiner to mark veins on the petal, and that is all you need to do with this. Next, you're going to take either a ball tool or a bone tool, and you are going to pull back the edge of the petal, of the top petal, just a little bit. Remember, this is an open peony, so all the petals really should be open, but we're just going to pull it back a little bit, very softly, and smoothly. And that's all you need to do to this petal for now. Now we are going to let the petal dry on a flower former, or maybe if you don't have flower formers or petal formers, you could use a piece of aluminum foil. You could use a silicone mold. You could use whatever you can use to form these petals. As what we want to do is just give the petal a little curve at the end. We don't want a flat petal, we just want a curvy petal. So whatever you can use to form that petal, you use. We are going to do this with all the petals. Remember, in all we are going to make 15 petals, and you do the same process with each one of them. We are now ready to color the petals. I'll be using a light pink for the body of the petals and a very bright pink for the edges. You may color the petals on both sides if you prefer. You can skip this next step if you like. I am going to use a steamer to steam all the petals on both sides before I assemble the flower. Some people steam the flower after it is made, but this way works best for me. By steaming the petals, the color will penetrate evenly and the petals will look shiny and smooth. If you don't have a steamer, put a pot with water to boil. Once the steam goes up, carefully hold the petal over the pot for a second or two, steaming both sides. And finally, I'm ready to assemble my flower. But first, I'm going to bend the wires of each petal using my pliers. The first row of petals is the set of small petals. I will bend the wire back, holding the petal between the end of the petal and the wire, as not to break the petal. The wire should be bent just a little. The second row is the set of medium petals. Same process. Only this time I will bend the wire further back. Do the same thing with the next row or large petals, but only this time bend the wire almost to form a 90-degree angle. Time to assemble the flowers. First, I take my center and I arrange the petals underneath the pistils, making sure to overlap them. In other words, the next petal should be behind the first petal, and so forth. When placing the last petal of each row, overlap it in the same manner, but put the other side of the last petal inside the first petal. Once you've positioned the petals underneath the pistils, you may start wrapping all the stems together. If you like, you start by wrapping one petal first and then continue on. Or you can arrange all of the first row together, all those petals, and then tie them with the florist tape. Continue in this fashion for the second and third rows. In the end, you will wrap the stem all the way down. Remember to always use your pliers. This will help you a great deal. Instead of using your hands to move the petals around, you should use your pliers. This will avoid the chances of any breakage. And last but not least, we will color the back of the peony in a green color. Just brush some of the green in back of the petals to give it a natural look. And after this, you are done making an open peony. And so we've come to the end of this tutorial. I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did. Please share and subscribe. If you have any questions, you can post your questions in the information window at the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you the next time in another tutorial here in Yolanda's Cakes. May God bless you all. Thank you for watching.